Just now, Rolling Stone magazine released their updated list of 200 greatest singers of all time.
Here I am.
And that means only one thing, that the season of the first fights of the year is officially open.
We're gonna have a good time. Always.
Rolling Stone's upgraded list of the greatest singers of all times, which originally appeared in 2008, predictably included such names as Freddie Mercury, David Bowie and Robert Plant. Overall, I'd say that there are about 20 rock vocalists there all in all, and most of them, despite their achievements, are of course included after such artists as Beyonce or Ariana Grande. Yeah. But at the same time, this list finally included some metal singers, which is already an amazing thing by itself, and just once again proves our prediction that heavy metal will get more and more recognition by the mainstream institutions in the nearest time. And thus, Rob Halford, Ozzy Osbourne and Ronnie James Dio were all recognized among the greatest singers of all time, which I think is very much deserved. At the same time, many people, after seeing this list and being happy for those vocalists, raised their eyebrows and said, "That's it?" So let's take a deeper look into it. According to Rolling Stone, this is the greatest singers list, not the greatest voices list. Talent is impressive, genius is transcendent. Sure, many of the people here were born with massive pipes, perfect pitch and boundless range. Others have rougher, stranger or more delicate instruments, which so far makes perfect sense to me, as I think we all can agree that just having a great voice is not enough, and sometimes a singer's charisma and ability to interact with the crowd is much more important.
Yeah.
The magazine then even uses Ozzy Osbourne's entry as an example, saying Ozzy Osbourne doesn't have what most people would call a good voice, but boy does he have a great one, which once again is absolutely true, but at the same time raises a couple of questions. If vocal range and stamina are not the only criteria for a singer to make a cut, then there are definitely many more metal singers who have to be included in this list. For example, a frontman of this little band called Iron Maiden. As let's be honest here, there are not that many people in the world who are able to have such interaction with the crowd. Rolling Stone also says that what mattered most to them is originality, influence, the depth of an artist's catalog, and the breadth of their musical legacy, which, for some reason, brings another name to my mind, who definitely didn't have a good voice, but boy did he have a great one.
Talking about me, Lemmy's got the voice in rock and roll. I think rock and roll is that voice.
And the final question for this list, actually no, there are many more, but this is the final which I will ask in this video, is that this list is actually an upgrade, a continuation of the original list of the greatest singers of all time, which appeared on Rolling Stone magazine in 2008 and consisted of only 100 greatest singers. And if we simply compare those two lists, first of all, none of the metal artists made it into the original one, so having those guys who well known deserve to be there is of course a great thing.
Hello there.
How are you?
Fine.
At the same time, the original list also included such names as Steven Tyler, Don Henley, Jim Morrison and Neil Young, none of whom made it to the new one. Which just makes me wonder what a flip happened in the past 15 years, that Neil Young, who was at number 37 on the list, suddenly became not so great, and what did, let's say, Ozzy Osbourne do in the past 15 years so extraordinary that he didn't do before that? And once again, in my opinion, each of those singers very much deserve to be in that list, actually even more. I think Dio, Rob and Ozzy should be much higher on the list. No, seriously, like 100 points higher. Shame! And I think that everybody knows how much I love Judas Priest and how much I respect Black Sabbath, and while Rob's and Dio's voices are of course well recognized around the world, I'm also extremely happy for Ozzy Osbourne being included here, and I completely agree with Rolling Stone that he might not have the biggest vocal range, yet at the same time he has such a unique voice and vocal techniques which are just pretty much impossible to replicate, and his legacy and influence on the world of heavy metal is of course indisputable. And so my biggest problem with this and many other lists is the lack of transparency, since I very much understand why Each of those rock and metal singers made it to this list, and I would not under any circumstances remove any of those from it. I simply do not understand under which criteria did, let's say, Bruce Dickinson, and by the way, I'm just using Bruce as an example here, but under which criteria did Bruce Dickinson not make a cut? Because in my personal opinion, his originality, influence, the depth of the catalog, and the breadth of his musical legacy is no less than, let's say, that of Ariana Grande, who, in case you're wondering, landed at top 40 on this list. And once again, there might actually be a reason behind it and a very logical explanation to it. But without those transparent criteria, this list, just like many other ones, looks like the list of me likey or me no like, in which they simply had to include some of the actually legendary singers. But anyways, which rock and metal singers do you think should have made it to this list? And who are those top vocalists in the world of heavy metal for you personally? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this short and rather spontaneous video, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!